been off on the first day, right? Which so some people might have even missed their matches. So it's been a little bit crazy in that regard, but I'm not sure. But have you been keeping up with it? Like, what are your thoughts on just how it's going and that sort of thing?
Yeah, and again, like now we're going to debate and rant about unfortunately the outcome of what already happened, right? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is it down again?
No. Are we?
I show a loading video. Yep,
God.
we're back. So I mean, now we're just going down the road of nitpicking. Like I won't say they were set up to fail, but like these are the issues that are going to happen when you're kind of figuring it out as you go a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they accidentally reported the wrong start time, and then people missed out. So then what they did is they made their next bracket really big or something, if I recall, or they added more qualifiers. So I think they're doing all they can to fix and remedy that situation, and people that didn't get to check in. But again, it's a scramble, right? And like I defended Sundance when I said when they wanted to charge some money, and they were going to charge $20, right? I think it was $20 for their qualifiers. And I'm like, great. That will stop Johnny Bravo 265 from just taking a spot and not showing or not caring, right? That just little bit will stop that troll, right? So how many people signed up for those huge GSL brackets that no-showed? I mean, I hope not. I hope these kids are legit, because that sucks. But charge a little money, you stop a little bit of that. So they got pains going on over there. MLG's got pains with what they're doing. It's just the nature of it. So I'm not going to badmouth ESL for having to deal with it. I think they're doing 4 qualifiers, right? Which is more than MLG.
Yeah.
So they're trying to qualify more. They're giving more people a shot through the system. That's good. I was on Reddit this morning, and one guy was bitching that he had
on Reddit.
On Reddit, I know. Yeah.
No.
He had tried to qualify. He's a Europe guy. He entered the first 2 qualifiers and played disappointingly, or something along that. In his own words, he was not happy with his own play. And he lost, right? And he was really, really pissed off and bummed that he missed the qualification by a few seconds today, and that he wasn't going to be able to qualify in number 4. And I was like, okay, I understand that you can't keep it. You had 2 shots at this. You're not the same as the kid who had no shot at it, and you're sitting here on Reddit bitching and how mad you are that you don't get 2 more shots at it. Right, and he ended up basically English not his first language, and to give him the benefit of the doubt, what he was trying, I think, to say was, I'm pissed that I don't get 2 more, but look at the people that don't get any. I think is what he really wanted. Like, my buddies didn't get any, right? But in reality, he was saying that after he had lost twice, and it was like, come on, fucking dude, you had 2 shots at it. Quit bitching. But his point was, he was two minutes late to the reg, and in 60 seconds, 500 spots or whatever it was gone. I don't know how you fix that. Do you run the biggest tournament online in the world and let every I have not sat down to figure out what if 10,000 people wanted to qualify out of Europe and you had to do it in a month? I don't know how you do it. Where do you draw the line with who you let qualify, how you let them qualify? Is it first come, first serve? Is it that plus invite plus seed? There's one job that you could never pay me enough to be in eSports, and that is any sort of admin of any fucking game. I've been around too many of them, and I know how stressful it is. You could never pay me to deal with what ESL, like that side of this business. Nope. So I don't know. I just hope enough smart people between all these organizations and partners, the GSLs, the MLGs, the ESLs, the tier 2s and the other tiers are going to be like the DreamHacks and the ASLs. They got to be involved in these points somehow. Hopefully all Yahoos somehow between the end of this, like you have a system, they have a system, Red Eye had a system. Somewhere along the way, there is the system that will work the best. Will it be perfect? No. And hopefully we find it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to bitch at it too much more. It is what it is.
It's gonna
move on. We hope they keep adjusting. We certainly hope that the partners are very forgiving with this kind of stuff. And away we go. And we find
when you say partners, you mean like the partners like MLG, DreamHack?
Yeah, the partners that are having to deal with the actual players at this point and regging them and getting them through the process. I hope they are.
A little bit. You have to remember, and I'm one as odd as it might be, considering I was with National ESL and things did not end well in that situation. I've been pretty supportive of ESL, but I read that entire Reddit forum, and the best point was made is that these guys, ESL's been doing this for 10 years or more than 10 years, running online bracket systems.
Yep.
There is really no excuse for what happened in their system. And then reading some of the Skype conversations that some of the players had with some of the admins, where they basically said, yes, we are catering to the better player, or what we perceive to be the better. Those sorts of things we need to try to eliminate, and those mistakes. I can't, in this case, for some reason, I just can't give ESL a pass because it's just really poor management of that bracket and planning. And we can't blame it on Blizzard for throwing it on them 2 days beforehand, because it doesn't take anything to put up a bracket, take registrations.
Yeah, but they're running 4 qualifiers of a scale and a time that they've never done before either, right? I think that's a challenge. They're not running 432
yeah,
bracket here.
They're casting them too, John. Right? I mean, like
again, but again, as an admin, I can tell you, if you put up the bracket and the system works the way it should be, and there's not bugs in the bracket system and so on, it should work. Yes, the casting is actually the hardest part of adminning, organizing that whole thing. But this was something where I looked at it and went, 10 years of doing this, and they should have done probably a better job at it. Yeah, it's disappointing, but I know they are doing everything to try to fix it, and I'm sure they'll be right up on top of it, and it will all work out. Again, it's okay to be. I mean, people say, well, why does everyone always have to criticize and complain? You know what? If we didn't criticize and complain, it would show that we don't care. We'd be just like, whatever. But I do care. I want to see esports grow, and if we could just keep making the same stupid mistakes over and over again, and nobody says, you know what, maybe we should try it differently, or maybe we should, up our production a little bit better, then we're never going to get anywhere. So complaining and being critical of things, but offering solutions, of course, I think is really important. So I have no problem expressing
I think that's the other side of it. Is like again, I'm mad over the spilt milk of the announcement and the lack of details from the start. And I'm an event logistics guy. It's what I do.
Yeah.
So you plan and then you operate, right? They're planning and operating right now, right? And it happens, and it's unfortunate, But yeah, it's constructive criticism. If we just went, this is fucking terrible, fucking Blizzard, fucking StarCraft, but we're not, right? So people are, I don't have the perfect solution. Like I haven't gone down the point system road like you have all these years. I know what I'd like to see, and I want a North American champion that is born on this continent. I really do. Yeah. And and again, it's a different monster, and it's not going to happen.
We all
with this.
do. I mean,
I love that. I mean, I've ranted about WCG forever about one of the coolest things we had was this Olympic thing. You could. But it is what it is, Am I still going to watch StarCraft? Fuck yeah. Am I still going to stay up too late and watch StarCraft? Yep. But it is what,
Yeah. No, I mean, again, ESL, they're doing a good job. And the reason why we're talking so much, guys, about qualifiers, everybody's like, qualifiers? What the hell are you guys talking about qualifiers? Well, this is the only chance that some of these players have, guys, to even get involved in any of this WCS stuff we're talking about. So that's why, the logistics and the planning, I mean, just all of this running smoothly is really important. People not getting screwed and missing their matches and that sort of thing, because it's 3 or 4 months that they can't do anything, for the most part, unless excluding just small tournaments and grassroots stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's why this is so important to get right. And that's why we're talking about it. And again, I think there's something. Let's just talk about some things that they're doing well. I like the fact that they're having a lot of the community casters help with it.
Absolutely.
They're actually casting the live games, and I know MLG's not going to be doing that, which that's too bad, because I really, really like the fact. I like that NESL, Roddy and Bitter are doing some of it today and doing a great job of it, and as well as all Caleres has been awesome. Okay,
other leagues.
Yeah, so it's replays. Oh my god!
Well,
there's just no way. Are you gonna if we're gonna watch replays of this stuff? I just that's gonna be so bad. I mean, MLG's gonna do replays, but that's kind of what I'm referring to, guys. I think MLG's gonna be doing 4 replays a night or something like that. The schedule's out here. Let me show you the schedule. It's right here, guys. And
ouch.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna be fun for anyone else trying to put out live content.
Yeah. I mean, it's the nature of this kind of ongoing.
That's a whole other conversation. Yeah. But I do like the fact when they first announced this. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
We're
When
just
they
talking
first
over-
announced this, oh, okay, that's fine. I was just checking. When they first announced this, one of the things I really liked from the beginning was, well, one, it's great that a developer gets involved, right? And that is huge news. But Blizzard, I think, maybe realized one of two things. One, no matter what team we bring on, and no matter how many resources we buy from the old IPL, we're not really in the business of completely running all of the events, and so we're not going to put our foot down on every aspect of it.
Right.
And they included the guys that really have gotten us to where we are today, and that's the MLGs and the ESLs, the people that started saying, hey, this is a fun game, especially when I can talk shit to the guy across the world. I'm going to create a league for this to happen, and then that helped, of course, the game become what it is. I mean, obviously StarCraft's a great game. It would be great, without MLG and so on, but it's really important that they included those, and I thought that was great. And that's not necessarily a knock on Riot. Okay, maybe it is a little bit, but it's good that Blizzard is doing this. I think it's a good step in a direction that involves both developers and leagues.
Yeah, they're partners. You know what I mean? Like they've always made it clear that ESL, MLG, all these, and GSL, all these guys, they're partners with Blizzard and all this, and not so much just contractors.
Vendors. They're not vendors.
Yeah, they're not
partners.
vendors or consultants and that sort of thing. I mean, it's. Yeah, so so they are giving them some rights to do just their different things and that sort of thing, and sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. So
I do think it's safe to say that at the end of this, and the end of this being BlizzCon for this season, I think BlizzCon will be the coolest esport presence at a BlizzCon we've ever seen.
Yes,
and we already have seen some cool shit lately, right? Year before last, right? Obviously, no BlizzCon last year, but I think I fully expect. Looking at all of you, ex-IPLers, Mike, it's like all you guys, I fully expect you to knock this out of the park and show us the best StarCraft 2 production we have ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever seen.
No pressure, though.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
What a pressure.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Why don't we take some of the topics from the viewers that are in the Reddit thread?
Sure.
Definitely want to have this kind of open, just kind of this open discussion with you guys, the community. And okay, so I'm on the Reddit thread. Why don't you guys go too, just in case I missed something here. But okay, Ubwub has some questions here. So it says it's unknown as to what the future holds for CS:GO. It's slowly obtaining more viewers and gaining traction as far as tournaments are concerned. However, the NA scene for CS:GO doesn't have much happening for it either. What? Other than ESEA LAN as far as offline goes. The online landscape is all about ESEA as well. Do you think a grassroots effort needs to be started for there to be more LANs and just developing more talent, similar to the console FPS eSports scene?
Yeah, obviously I touched on my initial thoughts on CSGO and its growth and all those things earlier, and even mentioned Craig and ESEA with the Euros coming over. He's open to European League, and they now compete in the sense of offline they meet. They run their own thing online. So again, I think that will help maybe motivate a little bit and remind us of the old days of Counter-Strike where the Euros came over and took all our money. At least it won't be Koreans. Craig does kind of have the monopoly in North America in the sense of Counter-Strike events, offline and online. I don't even think if SIVO even around anymore, man. God, I'm bad.
They just relaunched their website.
Yeah, SIVO's around for sure.
Because for a while there, it was always SIVO and Cal. Before ESEA, it was SIVO and Cal, SIVO and Cal, SIVO and Cal, and they pushed each other for prize purse, for better admins, for better rule set, for all those things, right? And for a very, very long time, Craig has owned that ship. Not that obviously he deserves it. He spent a lot of years caring about Counter-Strike when no one did. So not going to knock the guy for having a business around Counter-Strike because again, for years everyone left. But he is kind of that only game in town, as Hubwub says, right? I mean, he is where you play in North America. The ESEA is where you play, and then you go to his events. Again, I just mentioned UMG and AGL and these other organizations that are throwing tournaments and events for console games. Do we need a few more of those dipping their foot in Counter-Strike? Mm-hmm. If they're good and legit and don't rip off players and can throw a good event, I mean, throwing console events is not easy, but throwing PC tournaments is harder. need more things.
Yep.
And more things can break, and more things need drivers, and all those things. And that's not the dog console players or anything. It's a more logistic thing to have a PC tournament. So I don't know. I think Craig. I want Craig to see a lot more success. So Craig just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Does Craig become the CPL of years gone by for our Counter-Strike world and starts throwing big ones, and not because these events you have to play the season, and then you go play your playoffs, right? These are not open tournaments. Every Counter-Strike kid and their mother is bitching about MLG not having an open bracket. What if you're a fucking up-and-coming Counter-Strike team? You had nowhere to go play. I mean, you got to go play Craig's bottom league and work your way up online. So, I think it's growing. It would be cool if a few more people got interested. I mean, again, I would love to see it on an even bigger stage than Craig's. DreamHack supports it. That's fantastic. ESL used to support it. They support it in their studio now, these raid call things. So does that mean that it'll now be on the IEM circuit? Every big stop? Don't know. But I think they're getting good results and good exposure with what they're doing with the EMS stuff out of their studio. So that's a good sign. Because the other side of the coin is, you could say that Halo and Call of Duty have these things and these things. But we do have Craig, and Craig has for a long time dumped a lot of money and logistics into it. So we already have those things. The question is, do we need more? I don't know. I just think I think we just need more people to care again and watch it, and that has a lot to do with teaching people that don't play the game about the game. Because again, it's an FPS, it's multiplayer only, it's not very friendly. There's no tutorials, there's no single player campaign to get you to buy the game, and you're going to jump into a server and you're going to dial. It's like trying to play Quake right now, Quake Live, you get your ass fucking kicked, So cool thing about Call of Duty, not Call of Duty, but CSGO, is there is a ranking system. So if you start playing, you play with scrubbiers, and you kind of get ranked up in their little world and laddering, so to speak. Not really a ladder as we know it in StarCraft, but the matchmaking, if you will. So that helps. But again, once your team's a certain level, you go private scrim and you go private match anyway. So I think it's just again, more people watching it, better production value, and again, production value is great, but it can always get better and better and better. Getting more people excited is key. And I would love to see it on an MLG stage, but that's probably not going to happen either.
Yeah. I mean, her follow-up question is kind of the similar question. Do you think that there needs to be more grassroots efforts in StarCraft 2 just to develop talent?
I don't know what she means by more grassroots efforts. There's far more grassroots teams that have no money in our world, and I say our world meaning more than StarCraft, but we'll just say StarCraft. There's far more teams that have no money or have very little money that are grassroots team organizations than there are teams like EG. So there is a big grassroots effort. There's lots of organizations supporting that next layer, right? The question is, how do those players get there at least, so that the Clarities and all these other teams see them, right? Because there already is kind of a tier structure of these teams, and basically it's based on what you can afford, right? Grassroots in what regard? Like, are there really superstar? Are there really the unknown superstar StarCrafters that no one knows about, that really have no avenue to be discovered? Does that really exist in the sense of a viable number of bodies in relationship to how many people play the game? I don't know.
There's not superstars, but there are people equivalent to very well-known people. But
you know about them, so are they unknown? Are they? That's what I'm saying.
They're unknown. They're only like a few. There's only people that are actually paying attention. That know about them. So that's the thing. So I think she might be talking in terms of maybe tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely. I mean, again, and maybe it's directly related to like MLG, because for a while MLG was no matter what, it's like me and UGP going to CPL. No matter what, we're taking the Counter-Strike team. We're gonna get our ass kicked, but we're going to CPL. Let's see how we stack up. So when everyone was bitching about no open bracket, I totally got it. Because we went to CPL to get our ass kicked. We did not go to CPL to get discovered, though. Different world now, right? These kids want to go beat some pros and, obviously test their mettle, but testing their mettle now...
Overnight.
What was that? What was that, John?
And they won it overnight.
Yeah, well...
They won it overnight? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. But now testing your metal does have a financial reward to it, right? Back then when we went to CPLs, it was just test your metal, right? So I get that argument, and maybe that's what she meant, is like, where does that kid go get noticed? It's because online is not the same as offline, right? So I don't know, we have not heard at all what NASL is doing this season, in the sense, are they doing a Star League again? I don't know. Are they going to do something totally different and like dip all the way down?
Maybe
Sean,
they'll listen to us.
You're a huge proponent of that person and helping that person and giving him a hand up. You're doing some stuff, right? Talking about grassroots, like IGL is maybe exactly what she's asking about. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely could, and I mean, it's
I
hard to do grassroots sometimes when we're talking events, right? Because like, how do you structure it? It's like, if it is open, then the good players can go to it. So if you have any kind of, even any kind of money, right, then that's one of the issues that a lot of these online tournaments have, right, with smurfing and shit like that.
Yeah.
You throw a $1,000, $2,000 tournament, then some guy just makes a barcode, just some smurf, and then he's like probably a pro, and you don't even know about it. He's crushing all these noobs, and he ends up winning an easy $2,000. That's why it's tough to do grassroots right now, is because you can't limit it just to non-pros. It's because you need some of that marketing too, right, to get to get some attention to the tournament. So one of the things that they're doing in Canada is kind of neat, right, with the whole ESC stuff. They had that kind of alliance going there, right, which is kind of cool, because I think land is the way to go for a lot of these things. It's more expensive for sure to set up a LAN.
And we haven't talked about it, but you also got the Collegiate League, right? CSL is obviously a place to get discovered.
That's another segment.
That's a certain niche. You have to be in college. There's an age and obviously requirement of being in school. So you're not going to find the 14-year-old phenom or the guy that dropped out of college in that particular niche. So I think there's plenty of avenues if someone is very dedicated and very good. Let's qualify both those things. Very dedicated and very good, right? There is an incredible sense of entitlement around here that everybody who owns the game thinks that they should be able to play against the pros and test their metal. It's not the fucking way it works, right? It's just not the way it works. But there's got to be avenues for that guy to be found. I agree, because again, you have to fill. It's like any other sport. All sports have some sort of feeder system, all the way down to fucking T-ball and Pop Warner football and all those things in our country. So ours are just very, very loose and very unconnected, right? Baseball has a very solid track of getting discovered and playing baseball in our country, right? Again, I think it's also part of enough people realizing that this is not going anywhere, that there are places for sustainable business models that are different. Not everyone has to run a pro team model. Not everyone has to run an MLG. And, like you and IPL, you're looking for a niche that takes care of that whole, well, not even arguably, larger market. There's way more gamers that are not pros, that aspire or are that next, that mid-level, or that from there's a huge cutoff, and then there's a lot of people, right? And that's our fan base, that's our spectators, but that's also our future pros, right? So I get that. I don't want to be elitist here and go, well, if EG doesn't know about you, you don't deserve to be known about. We just have to make sure that there's proper places for that kid to get discovered. But the sense of entitlement is a little kooky too, right? Like, fuck you, MLG, you close the open bracket. I tell you what, they'll hold you an open bracket for you, but they're going to charge you $500. Would you still come? Because I'll hold an open bracket tournament for you for MLG, and if you all pay me $500 a head, I'll convince MLG to throw it, and then they'll have it because it makes sense for them financially, right? So there's that.
Yeah, 500.
That's our question.
Exactly. That's
good question.
Definitely a good question. Okay, let's move on to another. She had one. She kind of had the same question with COD too, or. But
her Call of Duty question has to do with rosters. It's
it has to do more with roster. True.
I mean, I was. I have found out. I'm a big fan of anytime someone is. I'm a big fan of two things. Anytime you're putting your brand in someone else's hands for an extended period of time, or anytime you're putting your brand in someone else's hands for an extended period of time, there should probably be some sort of business arrangement there. And players do it to teams, and teams do it to players. Right? Somewhere along the way, when you're talking about repping someone, and we're not talking about some little Yahoo nobody, but people of note, there needs to be a business arrangement between these organizations, right? Between the organization and the players. And we as in the PC side, over the years have realized that, and I think every top esport organization, if you will, contracts their players in some sort of legalese, whether they're paying them or not, but most likely, certainly if they're paying them something. But even for travel and product sponsorships and those kind of things, you see contracts now. Because you have to, both sides should be protected in this, right? And what I come to discover over this weekend, 2 weekends ago, I'm watching the Call of Duty event. Obviously, kids are playing for a $400,000 first place, $1 million plus overall prize purse, and presence on big streams, presence with big companies. Like this wasn't done in a closet that no one saw, right? Well, then I find out that a lot of the top players have no contracts. They're not protected, and the organization that they're playing for is not protected. Neither are good. And contracts don't have to be money exchanging hands. They're just they're an agreement. And it blew my mind that these guys that are winning hundreds of thousands of dollars, possibly, have zero contracts with the organizations they're representing, and vice versa, right? So I started asking, well, why the fuck would, how does that work? You know, and it's very, the reason the teams do it is because they sell those assets, right? And I'm going to use Alex because he's my boy. If Alex doesn't know that he's got X amount of players on his roster for the next year or so, he has a hard time pitching specifics to his sponsors. And you pitch specifics. Let's do this. Let's do this with this guy. Let's do this with this team. And you kind of have to have control of that asset, right? If you have no control of that asset, but you're pitching that asset, well, that asset could fuck you and could literally put you out of business. Because what does he do? He quits. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So that was kind of funny. So a lot of Call of Duty roster swaps after the event, right? Happens after every event. So that in itself, not a big deal. After the international Dota one, right? TI2, a lot of roster swaps, right? Because you do that. Some were good, some were bad, some were knee-jerk, you know, but that I understand. But that shit should be handled in a professional, behind the closed doors, dealing with contracts, dealing with roster, you know, trades and all those kind of things. They shouldn't be done on a Sunday night by Call of Duty players in a hotel room with their web cameras. They shouldn't be done on Twitter, right? That makes that community look really, really stupid.
Yeah, no, agreed.
The fact that they're swapping rosters and all that, that's the nature of a team game, right? He sucks. No, you suck. No, you suck. Fuck you. I'm out. That happens. That happens.
A lot of that can be alleviated too with contracts. There's not so much.
If you have people on contract, you force them to calm down and think about the situation. And then if they still want to do it, there's ramifications to it. You can certainly quit my team, but if I don't dump your contract somewhere and I can't get what you're worth to me back out, you're not going to play for anybody, right? That's That's how it should be. It's never like that. That's kind of how it should be. So, you know, that just kind of astounded me that none of these guys are contracted, right? If I had just made this company look really, 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 really good, and they can sell the shit out of me next year, I'm going to negotiate like a motherfucker for them to keep me because I can go anywhere I want. Like, I can write my own ticket. I just won hundreds of thousands of dollars, and all you're giving me is hotel and air. Remind me again why I need you in the first place.
Right.
Right? For those teams, not for every team. So that's my take on it. Long answer. I don't think the actual roster changes themselves, the way they were handled or not handled professionally, that was the negative of that scene, and all those incidences.
I see. Okay. All right, we got Peanuts fan 1995. He has. I can kind of sign out with the question. The question is basically.
But real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick before you get into it, because I actually do need to step away.
Fucking Netherland Dodger. 2 Scoots Dodgers in one show.
Get the hell out. No.
Yeah, I have to. I really apologize. My son's got a soccer game that's almost over, and I told him I'd be there, and I got to pick him up.
Yeah.
Go do that.
Nothing I can do. It's good.
No problem. Me and Scoots will.
But hey, I wanted to say real quick. You guys, you finish it off. I just want to make sure that when I come back next Tuesday, I'm still on the show, right?
You're safe. Yeah. No, you're good, bro.
Okay. Dude, but hey, I really wanted to thank all the fans again, especially all the guys that came over from the good show, And thank you, Scoots.
Yeah.
It's always great having good conversations with you. PAX was great. We'll talk again, about some different things. I may just come to you and pick your brain a little bit.
Sure.
And Chris, thanks for a year of putting up with me and putting hard work into this, because it really has been great. And just keep doing it. It's my 15 minutes of fame, so I feel great about it. So.
Well, John, before you do some love, because you and I go way back in this scene, right? And I too, for the longest time, was a very loud guy, but most of my work was behind the scenes, right? In that sense, I wasn't a public spokesperson for a team or anything. And so, what people don't realize is there's guys like you that have been in the trenches forever. And yeah, you have a show now. People know who you're out there now. But like, there's 10 of you that no one will never fucking hear about, right? And I happened to get lucky. I was put in front of EG. That was what I did. That's what that's what Alex and I decided. So I think I got a lot of fame and notoriety, if you will, from my EG stuff, and little to do with maybe what I did in the years past for Got Frag or whatever, a different crowd, right? So I just think it's cool that very much behind the scenes movers and shakers like yourself are getting out there and I think it's great because again, places like GGL wouldn't have lasted. We can laugh about it as long as we want. Wouldn't have done half the cool shit without guys like you, right? And they did cool shit. So it's nice to see you getting some love and getting some props because guys like you are the unsung.
Absolutely.
And go now, like Banshee just said, I'll keep talking. So
yeah,
get up.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Hey, thank you guys very much. Now, do you want me to? I'm gonna have to stop the cam, obviously. So
yeah.
Anyway, thanks everyone.
Cool.
I'll see you guys next week, next show.
Right.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, John.
Later, Tater.
All right. He has a new picture now too, so we'll just have him just sitting here now. But okay,
ooh, look at that.
I'm gonna need to fix your cam though. Once it goes. But we can talk about the question though while we do it.
Right in my soul, man.
I know. Look at that, man. It's like that's one thing I wish everybody has. Actually, you have a pretty good picture here. So this is the picture I have of you too. So I mean, you have a good picture too. But guys, you are the few that actually have decent pictures because that's the one thing I was hoping that one of the photographers would step up with and just be kind of like the default headshot photographer for everybody.
Yeah.
Just go around taking them for players and everybody. That would be cool. But
yeah, and that's back to the John thing, and then we can move on. But just so many guys like John. And again, the guy he didn't come here for the StarCraft 2 rush or for the League of Legends boom. Like he's been here forever banging his head against shit. And he's not alone, right? And again, same thing in Europe. Bunch of guys banging their fucking heads for a long time, and that's they don't like. He chose to come on the show, so thankfully he's now getting a little love, and people, some recognition. But so many stayed back there, stay behind players as admins, or pushing buttons in production and all those things, and it's just cool, because it takes all of us to really do this. It takes more than players, it takes more than an MLG, so it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like one of the reasons I started this show was to help, kind of put him on a stage too, because. John is one of those guys, and a lot of people in this chat, you're in these combos with us. He does a lot of work helping people out, like everywhere in the community, and it's not until recently I feel like he's, kind of been a little bit more focused with what the direction he's gone. But in general, when I first met John, when we first started the show, I mean, he was really one of those guys that would do graphics for you for free, would give you advice on organizing tournaments for free. I mean, just spending hours and hours and hours for nothing, you know what I mean? And those are the type of guys that help people get things going. And so he's absolutely the props that you give him is absolutely deserved. And I'm glad that again, like this show's helped his platform in a way. So
and again, go check out IGL. That's his new thing, right?
IGL is his new. It's Play IGL.
Play IGL.
Yeah,
okay. Definitely check it out. Again, talking about. Worrying and concerned about the not pro, the kid that wants to be, the up and comer, the undiscovered. I think it's a really cool and needed take on this whole thing. Yeah, it's like you can make a tournament with all your friends. You can make a league with all your friends. Whatever game you want to play. That's pretty much the gist of it. And you can play competitive
games for free. You don't have to be a pro, and
Yep.
have a lot of enjoyment from it. Anyways, okay, getting back to Peanuts fan, he's basically asking StarCraft, WCS again. Given that the talent distribution, when it comes to Korea versus NA and EU is so different, should the prize pool be just allocated differently? Or should the points be allocated differently? I mean, some of these folks are suggesting that why don't we just give the winner of WCS Korea more of a just a higher
because it's harder, right? The idea behind it is that's
because
all the way
most of
through that
talent's over
process,
there, right?
it's harder.
Right,
Yeah.
and I guess that would be a way to maybe keep more folks over there, which in reality it isn't, given that there's only so many spots you can have, period. It doesn't matter how much you pay the people. But, is that a solution? Or is that even fair? Like let's talk about fair. What is fair right now?
Well, and again, that gets down to this whole, which is the right way. And I don't know. I guess for the sake of keeping it as uniform as possible, they have done that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would people have bitched and complained if they would have leaned heavy into Korea for prize money and points? Not anyone that knows the scene, because again, I love WCG, but if I recall, they would hold more qualifiers for Counter-Strike, and actually have more team spots for countries that were big into Counter-Strike than countries that had minimal, right? So they were kind of acquiescing to where the player base was and giving more slots. It wasn't always fair either. I know last year it wasn't fair for StarCraft. They did it based on units sold, right? So weird countries got more spots than Korea, etc. So I don't know if there's I like it. Again, I like the idea of it being uniform all across the board, and everyone fights the exact same fight to be the champion. Where my logic falls apart is your point. Is this part, Korea, getting to that championship is way, way harder than trying to do it elsewhere. Yeah. So how do we fix that? And I don't know. Because you're certainly not going to get, non-Koreans jumping on the ships and the planes to go to Korea to compete on that side of it. It's the opposite's happening, right? So, do you make the points more valuable? Do you give them more money? I don't know.
I mean, it's tough.
Because there's no win. If they do that, then everybody else bitches, right? Yeah. Even though people will go, oh, okay, that makes sense. They will still complain. Yeah.
And if we're looking at it from this whole frame or angle, I think what they've done is the correct thing. 3 regions that are open to anybody, that have equal prize pool, and actually the prize pool we never even got a chance, but some of the pricing isn't exactly the same, but for the most part they are the same at the top. And having you're able to move anywhere you want to play in those regions. I think that's probably the fairest thing, just given the current, just disregarding the whole grassroots thing and building up, regions and that whole bit. If we're talking about just the current Korean Korean talent and population being so big, and basically WCS Korea not being able to facilitate it, I think what they've done is good. So, and
again, I'm not familiar. Well, I'm familiar with enough of it, but for example, if you take FIFA and the World Cup soccer.
Mm-hmm.
The soccer-rich nations don't play any different than the soccer-poor nations, right?
No, not for
Argentina
FIFA.
Doesn't get anything different than, the U.S. in the sense, right?
Not from the organization.
Qualifying is the same, right?
Yeah, not from the organization, but
and of course, there's no points or anything. It's group stage to group stage and all that, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But they're not looked at like, oh, they are the best at this game. Let's do something different, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's right.
And again, I don't know, because again, you nod to Korea, you get yelled at. You don't nod to Korea, Korea goes,
they're too
way harder over here, bro.
Yeah,
Come on, this isn't fair.
You just have to choose. You have to choose what you're trying to work on right now, and they've chosen, to kind of
the region. Okay, I'm being corrected by FIFA.
Out.
FIFA's done by regions, and regions get more slots. So, for example, there's four Asian slots for the FIFA World Cup, and 16 for Europe. Because, Europe is a heavier football country than most of the Asian countries. Okay, so they do kind of, again, much like the old days of WCG, where they looked at Counter-Strike countries and went, Sweden gets 2, this country gets 1. So they kind of do that. I don't know, maybe just give them more slots. Of course, you give Koreans more slots. you're just giving Koreans more money, right? So
Yeah,
I mean, either way. But I don't know where it's drawing the line on what's fair and who is it fair to, right? And I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, we could go on talking.
Kevin
about
Naki does. Kevin Naki's going to fix it all in 2012.
That's right.
Now I'm looking right at you, Kevin. Right at you.
Is Kevin in the chat? Is he in the chat?
It's my control.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Okay, so next question. What do you think? Scoots, what do you think about EG relocating to California, and what impact do you think it will have on the players' results? And let's see, what should we expect from the move? Will other teams follow suit?
I think it's really cool for EG. A lot of reasons that the lair was in. Well, not a lot. The lair is in Phoenix because I was in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. My idea. A city that had an economic downturn real estate wise years ago, so good housing market for rentals. Studio here, I'm here, so it made perfect sense, right? Well, 2 years later. And in end of June, it will be 2 years. The company shifted. Obviously, I am no longer with the company. Cody, the general manager of the team, has always lived in the Bay Area. He's now finished with school. I think he was in the middle of nowhere, Northern California, for school. But he's finished that, so he's now moved into the Bay. Alex Garfield, the owner and CEO, is in the Bay Area. And it makes sense. They want to build a real structure in the sense of brick and mortar presence in a city, and it makes sense that it's not Phoenix for all sorts of reasons. So I think it's cool. I'm not going to announce their grandiose plans and all their excitement, but they got some cool shit going.
Of course.
In regards to training, I don't think it'll affect. I don't think it'll affect it in a negative or positive way.
It should be the same, right?
Yeah, the lair was not necessarily like a Korean training house in that sense, right? It was
headquarters. There's more of a headquarters than anything else.
Yeah, and there are a lot of there were media people that lived in the house. Anna lived in the house. They've also moved to San Francisco. Like the operations moved, or is moving, I should say. There's a few more guys still here. So I think in some regards that's actually really, 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 really cool for EG. Because that gets your management and your players even closer. Like, again, Alex will be with his players. Cody will be, and not all, obviously, EG's huge, many, many players. But at least this core, they will be with them night and day. Whether it's making content, whether it's talking strategy and all those kind of things, I think that's good. As for the players themselves, I think it'll be better. None of them loved living in Phoenix, Arizona. I love Arizona. I've been here for a very long time. I love this city. I'm a resident, right? This is my home. Yep. It's not their home. A lot of them didn't have vehicles, so they were at the burden of the folks that did have cars in the lair that drive them places. Phoenix is not they live up in North Phoenix. It's a suburb. It's not a young town. They weren't living in downtown Tempe where the college is. They weren't living in downtown Phoenix where it's they were living up in rich part of North Scottsdale. So cool and great in a lot of ways. But for them, their age group, driving all the way to Tempe to party and hang out, it's like an hour away. No one wants to do that. So I think being near San Francisco, much cooler for 12 million reasons. Yeah. And for the business, better, closer to their sponsor dollars, closer to big other sponsors that don't sponsor them yet, closer to an even bigger, better international airport. So I think all around, nothing but good stuff for EG. Like this move is not negative. They're not closing the lair because they're hurting. They're expanding. Yeah. So I think it's really, really cool, and I'm actually really excited to see what they do, because again, I'm kind of now on the outside, kind of looking in, getting a little bit of info every so often, but I'm curious too. So that's my take on EG. I think the players will be much, much happier, closer to a hip city, and at the end of the day, it could very well be the turning point for a guy like Greg, right? I don't know. I have no idea.
Really?
Well, just a different environment.
You can make some
out of the same place you've been for 2 years. They've all been in the same grind together, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. So Greg lives with his girl now, and he's grinding differently. I don't know. I don't know what it'll do to any of them. But it's the next step in them all growing. I don't know if they're doing a lair or another house in San Fran.
Right.
I know that Alex has shared with me that they're doing more of like a real office, which is kind of just for the business of EG is really, really cool.
Right.
Because these guys can go to work somewhere. Because at the end of the day, working from home is all well and good, but when you can put your brain trust of your business in the same building, that helps.
It's always more efficient.
Kind of doing that.
It's always more efficient being together. So
yeah, team management, a bunch of players. So I think it's good. And again, as I said to Alex when we talked about it when I was leaving the team, because this has been something that's been talked about for a very long time. It's like, dude, I wish I was younger. This might be a ride I'd take with you, but I'm not a guy to move. It wasn't why I am no longer with EG. That was not that. This is all like too sherry in that sense, but
right.
I think it's gonna be really, really cool. And then you see guys. The cooler part about it is not EG. Whatever. EG is EG. I love them. They'll be great. They have money. They're fine. The cool thing is what it seems to have sparked, maybe, Chris, is this other teams wanting to do it, and maybe other teams that wouldn't have done it before. Like you got Cats.
Yeah, Root
talking about. Figuring out a fundraiser and figuring out how to get a house going too, and if WCS, and again, these guys were moving long before fucking Blizzard knew what the hell they were doing. Trust me, this is not a move for what WCS might be. This move was happening anyway. But if WCS opens something in San Francisco that has a studio and all those cool things, that just makes it even easier for EG and Alex, right? So then you see like guys like Cats going, fuck, should we move there too? I mean, I would love for San Fran to become the U.S. little Seoul, right?
Yeah. And
whoever can afford it, go do it. It's not an easy proposition. It's not cheap, and certainly
it's definitely not cheap.
And like Phoenix is an inexpensive place to do the lair. San Fran is not. You have to start talking about Berkeley, Emeryville, Oakland. You have to get out of the city to do this, right?
Yep.
But you're still a train ride away. You're still a BART stop away. So, really cool shit. And I hope more do it. I don't know if Katz will pull the trigger till he knows what is happening in California. But, again.
Well, he has to raise the money, too. I mean,
he's got to raise the money.
Not just that, right?
But, if it ends up being LCS-like, and I'm just going to say like in the sense that the teams and the players have to put their players near a studio because every day they walk in and play somewhere, that's cool as shit.
Yeah,
it's getting me closer to some sort of region, even though it's region by money, not region by citizenship, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's what I know about EG. They all have slowly started to exodus. I think right now we've got Ben and Bryce still in the lair. But I do believe that it's. I mean, again, the house is up in this
June, right? They gotta be out by June.
I don't believe it's being re-signed. I think it's going to get closed, and the rest of the crew, if they haven't moved, will move. I imagine the furnishings and all that. I'll be asked fairly soon, probably, to help load up a moving truck for somebody. So yeah, that's what I know about the EG shit.
Yeah, I agree too. I think it's just going to be a good thing because, again, like. The IPL team, obviously Blizzard's doing something in San Francisco there, and Twitch is there, and there are some big eSports players in San Francisco. So I think
it makes so much sense. And again, for anybody in the business, if you can actually tell a prospective sponsor, hey, why don't you come on down to my office and we'll walk you through
exactly. Let's have lunch. I mean, that's like
like right now, okay, let me hide that I'm Skyping you from my bedroom here. Let me get it. Let's make this look professional. You got an office. It's you're like it makes it all again cost money, but it grows up the business. Does that make sense? Right? So it's cool.
Absolutely.
I'm sure for Alex and Cody and those guys in the office, it's a really proud moment to, especially Alex, to sit at his desk in a real place, right, and go, holy shit,
this is something. Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing that Sundance thought the first time he got an office in New York City. He probably was like, oh shit, we're on the way. You start humming the Jefferson theme, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're moving on up. So yeah, I wish them good luck. And again, maybe it starts a California a build out, if you will, of other teams that can afford to do it, because that actually would be really cool if that came out of this.
Yeah. Which there are some folks in LA too, so it's at least it's in California now. I feel like, except for MLG, but
yeah.
Okay, let's next question. Yeah, this is a question I had too. So a lot of DDoS problems recently, right? I mean, like the G1 had their issues and kind of plaguing some of these tournaments. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, is it? I'm surprised it hasn't been an issue before. So I mean,
well,
is this something?
It has been. It's been an issue for years, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But just we were all in a much smaller little tent, so like no one. Like it was smaller people that knew and cared about it. Counter-Strikers have been DDoSed forever, forever. A player will get DDoSed. And again, everyone also uses that as the first excuse when their internet goes out. Oh, I'm fucking being DDoSed, obviously, because my internet never goes out. Comcast is perfect, or Cox is perfect. But I know that Counter-Strikers have been DDoSed forever. I know the WoW community has been DDoSed forever. Like the WoW tournament, WoW community the players can't stream. They can't hold tournaments. Like, they have to play under the cover of fucking darkness and talk about it afterwards.
Oh, shit.
And now it's what surprises me is that the games with the biggest following, other than WoW's got sick numbers too, are now just getting DDoSed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that League of Legends guys weren't getting DOSed 2 years ago, and Dota guys 2 years ago, in a bigger scale, right? So it does absolutely suck that probably via this Skype IP leak that you see a lot more. The Counter-Strikers would get DDoS because you could find out their IP from an in-game server. You could find out their IP if you knew what you were doing in IRC. There are other ways around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's not new. It's just, I think we have a new rash of it. Again, even back in the Dota days, they were getting DDoS. But now you've got this much bigger spectator client, so to speak, client base that is watching and noticing it. Yeah. And so it's impacting hundreds of thousands more people than it used to, right? So it always was a real deal, but now it's like, are you fucking kidding me? G1 postponing. It's just disgusting. And I don't know how you fix it. Because yes, you can not use you can VPN your Skype and hide your IP, but man, if someone wants your IP, they're gonna fucking figure it out. That's the shitty part about it.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. I'm not an IT guy in the sense of knowing that, there's an easy fix. It sounds like the fixes are more hiding your IP than protecting from the DDoS, other than like truly getting behind a VPN and like locking shit down behind some sort of beefy firewall. Again, I'm not.
There's no cheap solution to it. I mean, there's no router that can fix it. I mean,
yeah.
If somebody's going to do a DDoS, I mean, it's going to be tough to once it's happening. There's not much you can do to really prevent it. So yeah, hiding your IP and that sort of thing, I think, is probably the best thing. It's just, I mean, there's just, oh gosh, like people they don't understand the consequences that of doing these things. They're just. The people who are doing this, they're just trolls. You know what I mean? They're doing this, and they're hurting our industry too. When some of these tournaments like get delayed or canceled, and they had sponsors, those are the sponsors that don't look back. At eSports, some of those sponsors they won't do another tournament. So, gosh, when you hit a tournament, that's like a whole nother level than like DDoSing a streamer or something like that.
That's a huge point, Chris, because you're absolutely right. A player will like, all right, fuck it, he's gonna soldier on, and he'll be able to stream the next day, But you start impacting big tournaments that have big money given to them by sponsors, they're way more likely to go fuck this shit than a player is, right? And
exactly.
Like wash their hands. So like that is definitely the scary shit. But I don't know. Again, if someone came up with a magical download that saved your ass, everyone would buy it, right?
I know, but that doesn't exist, unfortunately. And that whole Destiny thing, obviously, he's on another show with me. He had the whole guide, but apparently that guide didn't work for a lot of the folks on Dignitas, I believe, that were in the G1 tournament. So, so that's. But he was doing VPS or something. So, anyways, I'm sure there is a solution, and I just hope somebody makes a public guide on that solution so that more folks can use it.
It's the old, this is why we can't have nice things,
I know, God.
Damn it. Like, what? Exactly. How does that... And the problem is, it's not even like... And again, I'm not a script... I'm not hugely into it, but from what I understand, it's pretty fucking easy to do. So it's
Oh,
not
it's
like
super
these
easy
guys
to
are like
do.
Kevin Mitnick, like superstar hackers that are fucking coding shit for days on end and going, hope this works. Like, it sounds like it's really freaking easy.
Well, the degree, it just depends on the degree.
Activate.
You know what I mean? Like, it depends on the magnitude of it.
Gotcha.
But the ones that are, you know, that are enough to take down, like, tournaments or just flood your bandwidth is pretty easy. Just pay somebody. Just pay a service to do it.
That's just crazy.
I know. Okay, how
We gotta
about one
stop
more?
talking about it before, like, someone tweets that we're talking about it, and
I know.
they come after us.
Exactly. All right, well, how about one more topic here?
Sure.
And
Sure.
it's actually Key Hunt and I believe iVoteKick have the same topic, which is it's all about leaking. Just like, you know, obviously you leaked the whole Quantic thing. So folks are just wondering, okay, let me just read both of them. So iVoteKick says he wants to get your opinion on leaking news and spoilers that destroy teams in esports. And then Kurt is asking, do you disagree with what Rod was doing as far as leaking information before the teams had a chance to announce, or just simply disagree with the way in which he went about it? You guys didn't watch Real Talk, did you?
All right, well,
go through it again. Summary again.
I disagree with that he did it. I don't disagree with the way he did it. And I absolutely draw a line between breaking on Twitter a dead team and a low to mid-tier team merging with breaking news of the arguably richest team in esports' latest acquisition with a page full of logos of sponsors involved. Those are night and day. Call me hypocritical, call me what you want. But if you think leaking EG's next players is the same thing as what I did with Fornot and its Gosu, and even fucking Quantic, then we're on two different fucking planets. You don't see me doing it on a regular basis, right? I did that. I wanted to fucking make a point. And the funny thing about that is I tweeted the Fornot, its Gosu, and I didn't know about Quantic. I had no fucking idea, Chris, that he was coming back or that Quantic was coming back in any way, shape, or form. That tweet led me to the rest of the info within seconds. Scoots, did you know this? Scoots, wait a second, I got more. So then I kept tweeting.
God,
so it was basically a social experiment in the community we live in, right? That nothing is, like, Slasher doesn't have some secret well of info. Just most people don't talk about it, right?
Yep.
And my point with Rod is still valid. I did not, and you can ask fucking Fujikara if I negatively impacted his team.
No.
And if he says I did, I will apologize. I did not negatively impact their announcement. He even said to me, he's like, dude, I think you helped us. You know? This is a friend of mine. And I apologized afterwards. I'm like, dude, sorry I did that. He's like, dude, don't apologize. That was cool, man. You got us some fucking hits. So that's different than leaking EG's news, right? And I'm not Rod. So I can do whatever the fuck I want for Run. I'm not paid to be a journalist. Yeah. I don't tell anyone I'm a journalist. I haven't been a journalist in this scene ever. That is also the difference between me and Rod, right? When I was in a journalistic job, in the sense that I helped run Got Frag, still wasn't a journalist in the sense that I was writing shit or reporting. We had a rule. If we found out about a leak, we got a leak about a roster change, Fraud's leaving this team or whatever, we would go talk to the team. Say, look, and I said this in Real Talk, I said this on Live on 3, but I'll say it again. Hey, Complexity, we know you're, and I'm making this up, we know you're picking up Fraud. We're not going to spoil your fucking thunder, but we want the press release, and we'd like a quote or two from you, and we're going to drop at the exact same time as you. So A, we don't get scooped by anybody else, and B, we don't fuck you, but we get the info.
Yep.
Every team on the planet would generally play nice with that. The downside of that is they say no, you go, well, okay, well, we're going to leak it. We never had to really do that. We never had to be the gossip. Because what really do you gain with that piece of breaking news? I'm talking specifically about rosters. I'm not talking about a company going out of business or something major. I'm talking about roster stuff, specifically, you know? My take on it was Rod knows that hurts the hype. It does. Why do it when you don't really have? Are you that desperate for GameSpot page views that you, Rod, Slasher, Breslau, have to be the one to do this? Because everyone knows about it. Why you, Rod? Why, you know, like, I want you to be the higher standard guy. I want you to write the expose about fucking drugs in our scene. I want
Where is that, by the way?
I want you to leak the stupid shit Blizzard's about to fucking do that you know, but you choose not to. But no, what do you
okay,
leak?
let's
You leak shit about EG, or you leak shit about other teams because you can get away with it and there's no repercussions. If he was a real journalist, he would leak everything, or he would leak nothing, right? He's playing his, and I love Rod. Don't get me, I'm ranting. Not that I'm mad at Rod or don't love Rod. I love the guy. I want him to do real news. And TMZ rosters, he said, this said, I heard from a source, is TMZ bullshit journalism. That is not hard-hitting real journalism. Is it journalism? Yes. But man, I want Rod to fucking dig deep. I want Rod to fucking make everyone who goes, because he works for GameSpot, right? He doesn't work for Team Liquid. He works for GameSpot. And read those comments. Those fuckers don't give a shit about Stefano joining EG. His job is to educate and get fuckers excited, not just be the fucking leaky guy, right? So yes, I played the game and I leaked some fucking news, right? I knew what Blizzard was going to do. I knew what IPL was going to do. I knew that those guys were all getting jobs at fucking Blizzard weeks ago. I didn't break that, right? But somewhere along the way, that is those guys' jobs, right? So my take on it would be, I wish nobody would deflate anyone's hype, because we all still need hype, right? We're all growing businesses, right? It's different if someone in the baseball world, ESPN, because again, this is his defense. It happens all the time. There's guys at ESPN whose sole job it is to tweet fucking stuff before it happens. Tweet rumors. Tweet possible trade negotiations. Coaches leaving. I get all that. I totally fucking do. But the New York Yankees are not trying to impress their sponsors every year and do hype promo. And I use EG, but a lot of teams are trying this, right? Their bread is buttered differently in real sports too, right? So that's where I draw the line on real sports journalism and what is absolutely accepted and kind of what isn't, right? So that's kind of my take at this. And I've said it many, many, many times. It is journalistic. It is a niche. I would just like Rod to do different kind of content. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And again, it is what it is. I think teams should be allowed to fucking hype. And leagues should be allowed to hype. And not have people like suck it out from under them, because again, we're in a business startup model where that helps business growth. And if Rod doesn't think that releasing that info, even though everybody knew, didn't hurt, it did. Now we can't quantify it, what it hurt, but again, better. I don't know.
I mean, a good example of kind of what you're talking about, and yet, Rod's still getting a lot of love or a lot of credit for it, was just this whole Blizzard WCS thing, right? I mean, obviously it was guarded by an NDA too, so he couldn't even do it, even if he wanted to. But just look what happened, right? I mean, they had a live on 3, right? That was almost the same time. I mean, they had the luxury of Blizzard not having like a press conference or even a live streamed event, but they had a live on 3, and basically they had a live on 3 knowing that 25 minutes into it, the NDA was going to expire, and then Rod could release everything right at that point, which was kind of timed at the same time as the actual announcement, right?
Well, of course you agree to an NDA. I get that. I get that, and I also, again, I can't sit here and go, there's a difference between It's Gosu and Fortnite and Quantic and EG, and not think that there is a difference between EG and Blizzard.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. Absolutely get that. I totally get that. Mm-hmm. But I still think that he should be held to a higher standard in that sense. Okay, so I get it. You didn't pre-leak Blizzard because you had NDA. Could have said no to the NDA, Rod, and you would have heard everything that I heard still. Come on. The biggest problem in our scene is everybody talks. Players talk, then players talk to other players, who talk to girlfriends, who talk to friends, who talk to managers. So that's it. So like a secret around here is like really hard to keep. And Rod knows that.
I'm gonna start this new topic, even though like I don't necessarily agree with it, but okay, let's talk about journalism, right? Really quickly. I know we've done journalism in the past, but typically I would agree with what you're saying, and I kind of agree with just baseline journalism too, that you should be able to write about whatever you want. But just given Rod's position right now at GameSpot, and you're right, what he should be doing is he should be spreading the word of esports to their entire user base, viewer base, and that's what he should be doing. But the thing is that all these like very hard hitting pieces that you're talking about, like drugs and all that stuff, those all make us look bad, right?
When do we grow up and start? If you don't talk about it, you're never gonna fix it, bro.
No,
and I don't think we have a drug problem, but I'm just saying there's real issues
No, but
in
you know what
RC.
I'm getting
There's
at,
real,
though, right?
there's even real educational stuff. And again, maybe that's what I'm more pissed about is that he has got this. His content belongs on Team Liquid because he writes to the hardcore fan right now, right? Again, the average GameSpot guy does not care about a roster shift or those kind of things, right? So maybe it's the platform he's also dumping it on. Again, if he wrote for Team Liquid and he still leaked the EG shit, I don't think my take on that would change. But like he has an opportunity to maybe educate a gaming audience that generally pisses on what we do because oh my god just go read the comments on the Kotakus and the GameSpots and all those sites that are gaming sites but not catering to us, right? Yes. In that sense, they're not necessarily writing about us. He has that opportunity at GameSpot to change that gamer's mind. But all he's doing is shoving our content that we're, like deep content to that audience. And I think he has to do both.
But he is doing both. I mean, come on.
I don't know. Is he? I don't know.
I mean, like all this WCS stuff. Is that not what you're talking about? Like really hyping up or blowing up, in regards to the game.
No, I'm talking about like shit like him and Marcus did a fucking great panel on the history of esports.
Yeah, there you go.
Write that shit up. Yeah, give me a long series. Like, come on, it's easy fucking work for Rod to grab a few rumors, get them confirmed by enough people, and write an elongated Twitter post on GameSpot. And that's what some of his content has been. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
And some has been good. Don't get me wrong. But I get again. Maybe if he wasn't a friend of mine and I didn't like him per se, that I would not give a shit. I'd be like, oh fuck, whatever he does, he does. But maybe that is it. That I want him to ascend to the not this fucking TMZ like journalism. I mean, go above it. Is someone always going to do it? Yeah, sure. I guess that's the nature of when everyone talks. I want him to fucking delve into some shit. And again. Asking a few people if Stefano's joining EG is not delving for me because it's too easy to find that information out. And again, that's my take on it. Now I'm just going in circles. So.
It looks like. Okay, it looks like Kurt has a follow-up question in chat here. Anyone else change their mind if instead of leaking new information, Slasher leak things that are just happening, either by teams, events, devs, whoever? This could still be either negative or positive information, but it wouldn't hurt the hype of an announcement. Sure, okay, right. Yeah, I mean,
don't know. What does he mean by that?
I think he's just talking about just like you were saying. I think just lining it up with the actual announcement, getting probably more exclusive type of stuff.
Yeah, and it's kind of the resolution that him and Alex, unfortunately for Alex's part, after Alex kind of didn't do so well in that interview, right? I mean, he didn't. And he knows it. They got to an agreement about that kind of thing. Like, look, dude, let's tit for tat this. You help me, I'll help you. Stop burning me, and I'll help you, right? And I think the last announcement from EG was like that, right? He did not leak it. He got extra quotes or whatever, and it happened in a much better way. Every side's got to play with every side. Like, Rod's not the enemy, and EG's not the enemy, right? Somewhere along the way, we're too young still that we kind of still have to play nice a little bit because we got enough people on the outside that are not playing nice, right? That don't give a fuck the right way, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what the funny thing about that whole thing was that in some ways it did kind of like bring to light a big issue that was discussed, which was esports journalism. I mean, you know what I mean? Like other people did pick it up. Other gaming.
That's the cool thing about all this.
Yeah, that's what's funny about it.
It always tends to lead to a more adult-like. I mean, even I ranted and yelled and screamed at him on,
Yeah.
It always leads to a more adult conversation that shit actually gets done after the blow up, right?
Well, the blow up. What I'm trying to say is like
a month of fucking convos on every talk show about it and what it should be or shouldn't be.
Well, it wasn't even just our talk show. I mean, like Penny Arcade picked. I mean, just other sites picked it up too, which was kind of interesting too. But all right, well, I think we're through all these. Let me make sure. I think we're through all the topics that were in the Reddit thread. It's always good stuff, man. I think that's it, right, guys? Okay, maybe one last one from Milton. What do you guys see in the future for DreamHack, NASL, Iron Squid? Did Blizzard just kill all but their partners? Have you seen the new DreamHack hype video? Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I think those particular questions, those three are probably fine. I would imagine, again, what we don't know. We know what DreamHack is doing because they've announced some stuff, and obviously DreamHack does what DreamHack does anyway, summer and winter. Yeah. But we already see some of their plans for StarCraft, and they didn't stop. I imagine DreamHack. We'll start with DreamHack. I absolutely would imagine they would be one of these teams that, one of these events that gets points.
Yeah.
To offer
that first tier point that we were talking about.
I mean that would make no sense if they didn't. I would think Iron Squid, based on what they've already produced and what they've already shown the world what they can produce, I would see no reason why they would not get nod to have points and still get a license and be able to do the exact same shit they did before. And ASL, I have no idea. I mean, they had a different kind of monster because they had this Star League going. I have no idea what they're now going to do. Whether they're going to pare it down and do a little bit of StarCraft. A lot of people are saying they're going to go into Dota. Obviously they got a great studio. I know they're not going away. I'll tell you that right now. They are not going away. This will not. Just having a few conversations with Russ and Faith in PAX. Yeah. Not about StarCraft, not even about WCS, but like they're fucking on like Donkey Kong with all the shit they're doing. So I think they're going to be fine. I think what we see out of them StarCraft-wise is going to be different. How different? I don't know. And again, I think DreamHack going to be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I think the dilemma that gets created because of this is just more saturation. Less weekends in the year. Less time for players to go travel and play between what they're going to maybe have to do for their WCS commitments to then hopping on airplanes and going to the point ones, right? It's just going to – there's more StarCraft to be played.
Yeah, and that's the point I was making, like, to some people about just non-WCS events and just having that just still be free reign as to how many you can have, because it's really no different. Like, the players, as long as you have a prize pool that's a lot, they're still going to go no matter WCS points or not. I mean, WCS points is just an additive like motivation to go to those events.
Yeah.
But it's not going to change. I mean, if you have $40,000, $30,000, $20,000, you're still going to get all the same players going to all those events. So
and again, maybe just those events also will help with a little bit more breakout, right? Because they're a little bit more open. You'll have some pros that
the
DreamHack's summer winter very open.
DreamHack's okay. DreamHack's
very winter. Obviously, not their invitational for Stockholm coming up, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But because you're going to have some pros that maybe they're doing well in WCS, or they see their next couple of months of competition and go, nope, don't want to go to a DreamHack.
Yeah.
And that's opens
what they're
the door
hoping
for one more person that maybe wouldn't have gone to DreamHack, or one more invite down the line for something. Again, we just don't know. But DreamHack is an anomaly in our world. Like they would survive without any esport probably two times a year with huge successful events with their beast DreamHacks. Thankfully, they've chosen to vastly expand outside that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, DreamHack is a different.
Do we know who is a tier 1, who's a tier 2, who still gets to play in the Blizzard Pond, and how it all lines up? Literally date wise. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what Blizzard's hoping, is that people will say no to tournaments that they were going to go to before. Just given any kind of bad effects, right, of traveling. And I remember in November, right, it was like, I mean, a lot of players, but I remember Stefano specifically. I think he was like at a different place 6 weeks in a row or something like that. And like during that 6 weeks, you just don't get any opportunity to practice. I mean, you're literally just playing with however I guess whatever you've got right now, you're gonna have for the next 6 weeks, and you're probably not gonna get any better. So maybe with that frame of thinking, that folks will opt not to go. So maybe some of the Koreans will opt not to fly to as many MLGs or as some of the DreamHacks. I mean, not that many went to DreamHacks and IEMs in the past anyway. So, but maybe less MLGs because of that.
Yeah, and all we know about MLG right now in public is that they got Anaheim, right? And obviously
crazy.
everything they're doing for WCS. Now, obviously, before all this was announced, they were going to do seasons, so we could assume they were doing 4 seasons. But again, did this make them change their whole plan based on helping deliver the best WCS they can? I don't know. I don't know.
One thing we didn't even talk about yet, dude, is what you're doing now.
Oh,
we got to talk about that.
I'm doing nothing, and it's great.
All right, talk to me about the package venture. So, obviously you alluded to it some, and I know a lot more about it, but you alluded to it some on Real Talk, that you were trying to get together these package offerings at the various events like MLG, and these packages would be more of like a vacation-like package that you would see sometimes, where it's kind of all-encompassing. You'd get, I guess, stay, eat just food, and maybe some VIP type of I guess meetups with players and that sort of thing. Talk to us a little bit about that and where you are with that.
Yeah, so obviously, if you don't know in chat, which you all should know by now, I obviously left EG. I left EG and Live on 3 any sort of obligations at the end of 2012, so I'm free and clear of anything. And I've been pondering, what I want to do next. I was, for those that only know me from EG, I was here longer before EG than I was here with EG in that sense. I've been here a very long time in the esports scene. So I know that I'm not leaving, or I wasn't leaving, and I'm not leaving. Leaving EG is not leaving esports to me. And so I started thinking, well, what do you want to do, Scott? You've done media, got frag, and that led you into a little bit down of the league world because the MLG bought us, of course. Not the sense that I ran leagues or was an admin or anything, but, got my taste of being around a league organization, if you will. And, then I did a team. I did EG when Alice came calling. So I've kind of done a couple really key parts of our little triangle here: league, media, players, and fans right smack in the middle of all that. So I'm sitting at home going, because I did not, leaving EG did not come with a battle plan. I didn't leave EG for something else. I've had several months to figure out what the hell I want to be when I grow up, and I have good news and bad news. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But what I started thinking about was, I wanted to do something that didn't compete, right? If I did something on my own, in the sense of not going to work for someone, I didn't want to start something that competed with a lot. I have friends doing all sorts of shit around here, right? Yeah. So I didn't want to start another team. I didn't want to, start a league. I didn't want to do any of the things that other people are kind of doing. So I went, well, what is no one fucking doing? That makes sense. And I started looking at the trends of the last couple of years. And one of the trends is that fans are showing up. Not only online to watch streams, but people are actually saving their money, getting in cars, get on airplanes, and going to events to do nothing other than spectate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not a competitor, and some not even related to someone who is competing. Not a brother, not a husband, not a wife, not a brother, not a parent. Literally, fans going to watch events, just like sports fans save their money to go watch events. So I was like, okay, what can I do here? And a huge thing in the sports business is corporate packages. And what that basically entails is, let's say Coca-Cola wants to entertain 200 people at the Final Four weekend in Atlanta, right? Well, they buy the tickets. They get hotel rooms, they get ballrooms, they get buses, they get all this stuff, and they invite these 500 guests of Coca-Cola to come experience the Final Four weekend on Coca-Cola. And they bring their marketing guys in and all their schmoozers, and it's their clients that they're entertaining. They're not randoms. And they take these tickets, and around the sporting event, they build a weekend of entertainment. And it's obviously going to the games, Final Four, several games, but at night it's cocktail parties and food, and maybe they've gotten a coach or a couple coaches or celebrities from ESPN to come in and meet these guests, these fans, if you will, and glad hand them, as they call, grit and grip, get photos taken, all that for a couple hours. Yeah, Grit and Grip is what it's called.
That's funny.
And then away they go. They enjoy a weekend basically hosted by Coca-Cola. And again, for this particular scenario, the end guest is not paying a dime. This is hosted by Coca-Cola, right? So it's a free trip. The next step of that is what happens even more so. And what happens is ticket brokering companies and large group travel agencies will also then buy huge blocks of tickets for all these sporting events. Whether we're talking the Masters is really tough because it's a pass that's passed down by generations of use. But the idea is the same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
To get a pass to Augusta is pretty hard. But anyway, same kind of concept. It does happen because people do sell them. But the idea behind it is a ticket agent will come in and go 200 tickets to the Final Four, buy them all, right? They will then build a package very similar to Coca-Cola, but way less scaled. They're not at the Ritz-Carlton. They're at the fucking Best Western or whatever. It's a whole different scale of entertainment. What they do is they turn around and then charge you for it. So they take the ticket price. They take the hotel price. They take the transfer from the airport price. They take the food and beverage because they're still going to wine and dine you. They're going to bring some celebs in. They still do all this stuff, but you're going to end up paying for it. And they put a package price on it. And you can go. I mean, go ahead and Google like Final Four packages. You'll find them. These companies exist all over the world.
Yeah.
And then the fan is paying for it. What the fan gets is a turnkey event. From when I get, and a lot of these companies will actually start you from your home airport. Like they'll help you book your airline ticket and all that. Like they're a travel agent. So they'll get you from the minute you leave to the minute they send you home. And again, you get off the airplane in sunny Atlanta, and there's a sign there that says, ABC package tours for the Final Four, and you walk up and they've got your name on a list, and Mr.
Nice.
Smith, how are you guys? This is cool. Check you off the list. Bus is right out here. Let me take you. That bus takes you to the hotel. They get you checked in. You get your room. You have a cocktail party. You start enjoying the event. So they're kind of a paid travel concierge, right? I mean, you paid for the service because it's in all the fees, but they charge you one lump sum. And then you're kind of, obviously, you still got to buy stuff, souvenirs or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a
taken
package.
care of. Schedule-wise, you're taken care of. Yeah.
So, and I've worked these kind of things forever. And I've worked a lot for Coke. Again, Coca-Cola does it all internally. Like, they don't sell their package. It's all for Coke folks. They're using it as a hospitality event.
Yeah.
But I've also worked for corporate clients who went to ABC Travel Agent and bought 40 packages for the U.S. Open or Wimbledon, right? Yeah. And they use this big company's machine to then within it, they're kind of organizing their own 40, right? And we would take the generic package and we would elevate it for our 40 guests. There might have been 500 people there for ABC tours, but our 40 for General Electric, we had our own little hospitality, we had better rooms. Like, we took their offering and heaped on it as a corporate client. Again, GE still paid nothing. So my end rant to this is I looked at what everybody's doing. I looked at that people were actually spending their hard-earned cash to go be spectators for a variety of games. Because again, as an EG guy, walking around MLGs and these other events, I talk to a lot of fans, right? Yeah. A lot of people stop me. Not like they stopped the In Controls and the Idras and the Korean, like not like that. But I would have lots of conversations with people about, hey, why? And I would always ask questions like, what brought you here? Because I'm a very inquisitive fucker. Like, why are you a fan? Who are you a fan of? Why are you here? Are you related? And it would all sorts of answers. Yeah, it's my brother. No, Jeff gave me lessons once. Nope. My wife and I. This is our vacation. We took our fucking sick days. We added them all up. Saved our money. This is our Disneyland.
Yeah,
and I'd be like,
cool.
That was the coolest thing. So out of all those conversations over the last couple of years, I realized that on top of watching the MLGs and rest in peace IPL and everyone else kind of doing these VIP packages that got you a front row seat. It got you a special goodie bag. It got you that first next level of service than just a spectator in the room, right? And people were buying them and people were loving them. I was like, okay, I want to take – so my plan is taking that idea, what I've just discussed, plus, for example, the MLG base VIP package, and doing the other idea to it. So I'm going to charge you money, but I'm going to pick you up at the airport. I'm going to bring you to the hotel. Your money's going to include that hotel. We're going to have meet and greets every night with some food and some cocktails, and you're going to meet celebrities. You're going to, and I say celebrities in the sense of our world. You're going to hang out with some players. You're going to do that every night. Every day you're going to be able to enjoy the event. You're going to have special food for you. Again, you're kind of paying for this. Don't get me wrong. This is not a freebie. But you're paying for it once, and then you get access to
the access is something that they might not get, right?
Yeah, the idea behind it is you put stuff in the package that the only way that you can get it is if you're in the package, right? Special seating areas, special food, special meet and greets, photo ops, all those kind of things. So I've gone down the road, priced it all out, based on one event, like an MLG Anaheim, and got it to a price point that I think is pretty legit. And I'm going to sit on it for a little while. This last MLG I directed, StarCraft Blue stream for them, had a great time.
And did a great job.
Thank you. We had fun. I had a great crew. I got very lucky that MLG gave me an awesome crew. I mean, literally just awesome. It made my life easy. But what I did, though, is I did that is my buddy in real life, one of my best friends, if not the best friend in real life, my buddy Mick, whose last gaming event he went to was a CPL in 2005.
Wow.
He happened to be doing he's also a corporate event logistics guy. That's what he does for a living, like what I used to do full time. And he happened to be doing an event at the Hyatt in Dallas when we were doing a CPL, so he poked his head in a couple times and saw it. But the landscape of CPL 2005 and MLG 2012, night and day inside the ballrooms, right? They're not ballrooms anymore. They're actually huge exhibit halls for one. So he's my partner in this if we do it. So I want him to see with a super hardcore, passionate esport guy's eyes, but a logistics guy's eyes, an event now. So he came to Dallas, hung out all weekend at Dallas, checked it all out, took copious amounts of notes, measurements, literally, had his own grind going, and it was thoroughly impressed. It was everything that I told him was gonna be. I told him what to expect, and he gets it. Yeah, he's a gamer in his own right, but not sit down and watch streams gamer. We'll play some different games together, etc. But we looked at it, and again, we both think logistically it's a feasible idea. I could sell packages. I don't know how many I could sell yet is the issue.
You mind mentioning a price point or no?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's hard to say a price point without. It's hard to qualify the price point without saying everything that's included in it.
Of course, but still.
But we want this, and this does not include airfare. So wherever you're flying from, it would have you landing at your home at the city of choice of the event. And again, we priced out Anaheim, but it could be anywhere. I don't want this thing to cost any more than $2,000, and I want it to be somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000.
Okay.
And keep in mind that includes the $250 VIP fee you would pay. It would include your hotel. It would include food, every day for you.
Good food, right?
Yeah, good food every day, good catered meals. It would definitely include every day evening functions that had alcohol involved and had players of note and celebrities of note involved. It would include transportation to and from the airport. Our idea for Anaheim, and again, Anaheim's not going to happen. I'm going to say it right now, we're not going to do Anaheim. But if it for example, in that particular price point, we figured out what it would cost to offer you a tour to one of the development houses. So, buses and organizing, taking you to Riot or taking you to Blizzard or taking you to the Treyarch studios because they're all in Anaheim. Mm-hmm. So all that, because again, the way MLG VIP worked is you bought your VIP pass, but you picked what you were a VIP of. So Adam and the gang at MLG knew where to kind of reserve your seat. In the League area, in the COD area, or in StarCraft. So it would have been the same kind of thing. So if you signed up to be a StarCraft 2 VIP package guy, well then we would ask you if you wanted to go on the Blizzard tour on Friday. If you're a Call of Duty guy, you want to go to Treyarch, obviously. So those kind of ideas all built into that price point. And getting a few sponsors involved that would help us maybe defer that cost, would lower it. That's not really in the price point right now, but what would also be offered would be sponsor swag. So maybe we got SteelSeries involved, and every night when you go back to your room, you've got a piece of SteelSeries gear. Maybe the first day it's a headset, the next day it's a keyboard, and then the final night it's a mouse. So you roll out of there with real tangible swag for your money, as well as an experience that you really can't get if you don't jump on it. You can't get all of it. So that's the idea. Still a very, very, very feasible idea. You know, and again, it led to all sorts of ideas, like not just an MLG, what about PAXs? What about there's all sorts of ways this might work, right? First and foremost, my background in this world of careers, if you will, is event logistics. It's what has paid me more money than anything else in my adult life, right?
Right.
So I know that Mick and I can probably do it cheaper and better in the sense of logistically planning it than anyone. Other people can certainly do it, but we just know a lot about logistics and planning events and saving money for meeting planning companies. So we do.
Yep.
We think that price point is reasonable. We think that price point is not again, that price point makes us very little money, which is intentional. The only way, the downside of this business, Chris, and you and I talked about it, is the only way to really, really make money in this as a business is to sell shitloads of packages, right? And ticket
unless your
brokerage
margin's just enormous, right?
Yeah, and again, because the margins are slim, so you need a lot of them to add up, right? And I think I could sell probably 20, 30, 50 packages for Anaheim. But to really make it worth our while in the sense of Mick has to stop his real job, it takes, you have to plan it, you have to operate it, you want like 100 to 200 packages, because again, that's where you can, you get a little bit more margin out of what you're doing, the more you can buy of everything. So we're going to kind of sit on it right now. Very much an idea that I am not doing, just not doing it for Anaheim. And it's also the same, it's the kind of idea that you need the events that you're doing it with need to really be on board. Like I can't do this as a gypsy operator, so to speak, right?
Right.
Like I need MLG to help me. I need MLG to embrace what I want to do. I need them to give me that VIP pass cheaper than they sell it. They need to help me with my margins, right? I need to go into their room block because I don't want to go down the street from MLG's room block and sell rooms when they're trying to sell rooms, right? They are the event. So I don't want to steal their room block. So they need to work with us. And again, I had great conversations with MLG. Don't get me wrong, this is not a negative. Like they're not helping, but they are so freaking busy with what they are now doing that they weren't talking about or worrying about 3 months ago, right? That it's not feasible to try to pull this off for Anaheim. It's just really not. Just trying to get Adam to fucking talk to me is hard because again, what they're doing now, like what's on their plate now, is way more than what was on their plate months ago with WCS, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So are you going to need a test case? Like, are you going to need to do it for a smaller event to show MLG, or is it not even?
No. I don't like. No, it's not proving to MLG that it's worthwhile. Like Adam Adam was like, Jesus, do this for me.
Awesome.
Again, I don't think Adam is looking at it going, we'll do this ourselves. We'll make some money. Like it's not a big like that. What I'm charging you is mostly in costs I'm going to give right back to a bus company, a food company, MLG. Like, again, when I say there's very little margin in that price point, there's very little margin in that price point. Like, there's enough margin in that price point to make it worth Mick and I's time to actually operate the event, not make a whole lot of money. Like, pay us for our time while we're at MLG kind of money. Again, I'm not looking to get rich. I'm okay with that, right? But it's just MLG Anaheim is coming way too quick. Way too quick.
Yeah.
I would love to do it at DreamHack. I would love to take 50 people to a DreamHack. But same kind of thing. DreamHack has to help me make it. They have to help me so I can sell what they're already selling. You know what I mean? Like they got to discount shit for me. Basically, they have to discount. I don't want it for free, but whatever you charge a kid, give it to me a little cheaper because I got to add it in my package too, right? Because the kids got to pay for it somehow. So stuff like that. I would love to do it to DreamHack.
Okay, so why would they even do that then, Scott? I mean, if you're asking basically for a discount on maybe seats that they would sell anyways.
Well, the discount, because Adam's going to sell X amount of VIP packages.
Right.
X amount. I'm going to sell more than that. I'm going to sell wrong wording.
Yeah,
I'm selling additional VIPs to that, right? So all he's given me, because again, if he's given me a discount on his retail price, he's not losing money on the price he gives me, at the end of the day. That's it. So he makes less money when he gives me VIP sell, but I'm going to sell 50 of them, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to make $50 more because they weren't going to get sold before, because he's going to still sell his same, like, walk in the door, you're now a VIP. My VIP starts different. So, and I'm going to help him sell his room block. I'm going to sell more room blocks for him. You know, like, I'm not. It's all additive, as I keep telling my buddy Mick. The cool thing about what we're doing is we're additive to the scene. I'm not hurting anybody. If I bring people to DreamHack and Robert has to give me $5 off a head, it's 50 people that weren't going to come to DreamHack because I helped organize them to come. You know, those kind of things. I'm gonna bring more, and the other overarching thing is if done right, the people that leave after this VIP experience are over the moon with it. Right? They love everybody. They love everybody. They had the greatest time ever.
Well, that's
so. I've made it.
I mean, I get where you're going with that, but that's not necessarily true. Like that, you're bringing new people to the event. These are people that are probably, I mean, the type of people that are going to spend $1,500 to go to an MLG or a DreamHack are probably the people that were going to go anyways, right?
No, I think I'm enhancing and bringing. I think. Oh wait, my Twitch is going weird.
Oh. I think it's okay.
I can't tell. Okay. Well, you're right. Yeah, I think you're accurate in the sense that some people that might buy my package would just buy their own plane ticket, buy their own hotel room, and go to MLG and buy that VIP package. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. I don't hurt that. And again, I'm not even asking these guys for a huge discount on. Again,
yeah. I mean,
to be perfectly honest with you, Adam and I haven't sat down and went, how much cheaper than $250 can you give it to me anyway? Right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I would get 10% off, 20% off, 50% off. But at the end of the day, Adam's point was you're enhancing that fan experience to the next level, and that is key. You know, he's not going to lose money if I help entertain his guest, right? At all. So and that's the takeout. And now it works it happens a lot in the sports world because often it's the only way you can go to an event. Like you can't buy a flight. Like you have to often buy into somebody's package to go as a regular fan to some of these sports. And I'm not talking about like going to watch the Suns tonight downtown. I'm talking about finals and big stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So that's not a problem here. Like my package doesn't get you access that you know in the sense of getting the door. Like the only way you can go to an MLG is Scott's package. It's just an enhancement, right? And again, Adam and I have not gone far enough down the detail road to truly, to suss out, okay, you give it to me for this, can I get your room rate at this? But I do know that they fucking are over, they love the idea. I've had those kind of conversations. Again, everyone blows smoke up your ass all the time, right? So, again, we're not down the road of, Adam, this is what I need to make this happen. And for Anaheim, we're too late to go down that road, so I'm not even pushing him. I just know that he's swamped. But I would love to do it for DreamHacks, I tried to weasel my way to Stockholm for DreamHack. I did all I could, didn't work out.
Wait, what exactly did you do?
I did all I could to try to get the thing.
Okay.
I did it all too late, let's just say that. But part of that, for me, was I want to sit down with Robert and Grey Carn and the bosses of DreamHack and have those same kind of conversations over beers that I had with Adam at Sundance and go, this is what I want to do. How can I help you? How can you help me help you? Right? Because, again, I would love to bring 100 people to DreamHack, because, again, the international thing is also maybe what makes this thing more attractive.
Yeah, if you can make it work, of course.
People coming to the States for the first time might be a little nervous. People going into because getting to a DreamHack main event is a pain in the ass. It is not a logistically easy place to go. Not talking Stockholm. Talking Jönköping, man, it's fucking planes, trains, and automobiles away, So you have very nervous people that have never traveled or have only traveled domestically that might go, I can afford that, but man, I'll just stay at home and watch. But if they knew that there was a guy rounding them all up and loading them on buses, again, that's what we are. We're like fucking travel agents. Like
your tours, that's
we're always around. Yeah,
exactly.
Now our job is to make sure you don't have a question. And you know where you're going, and you know what you do, and you know where you're going to be next. And so the conversations with Mick led to all sorts of other conversations. Like, no, why is no one? This is an idea I'm going to give away because someone's going to do it before me, probably. Why is no one in Korea organizing, bringing 50 Korean fans to an MLG to cheer for their heroes? Why is no one helping them come stateside, right? Vice versa, I would love to gather up 50 people and take them to a GSL or a GSTL or a Pro League. You know, because again, going to Korea, daunting thing. For some people, it's not the money. It's the logistics. It's the travel. It's the unknown. It's, do I need a visa? How do I get a passport? It's all those kind of things that scare people, right?
Yep.
And I'll just stay home. You know, so it's two things. It's money and it's not money. So all sorts. This comes out of all sorts of ideas. And again, it leads right into what Mick and I have done for nearly 20 years each, is event logistics and helping literally. We've been doing it on the corporate hand-holding side when it comes to no one pays a dime and everyone just gets fucking schmoozed, you know. But it's the same kind of concept. I want that kind of experience for this next level of fan that can afford it. And I know it's not very many people yet. And, you know, maybe it's 50 people, maybe it's 20 people. I don't know. So that's the package idea. Again, on hold, still being developed, still being talked about. But I think last time you and I talked, we were aiming for Anaheim.
Yep,
and it's just right. it came too quick. It really just came too quick for us to do it right. And certainly MLG has their hands completely full with just delivering the WCS and then planning for Anaheim. So you know that is it.
No, it sounds like a great idea. I mean, honestly, Scott, it's just, you know, like you said. Well, you said at one point you don't really care if it makes money, but it is a business.
It has to make enough money that I don't lose money, and then I get paid a little bit for my time.
Of course.
But I can't make the margins so high that I alienate anyone that wants to buy the package, because this isn't all fucking rich golf people here, right? This is different when we try to sell a Masters package. And, you know, you have to have a good time, and it has to be affordable. So the package has to be pretty close to the bones. Right, so I know I won't make it career, and it's fine. I can freelance. I am freelancing. I'm doing other stuff. This business leads into still being able to freelance too. So it's good. You know, the idea is not going anywhere. But again, what I want to wait for is this next little level of stability. Now that WCS is out, let's see how this shakes out. What does this really mean for MLG? What does it do to Anaheim? I don't even know their next event after Anaheim.
Yep.
So, you know, but I talked to a lot of people. I talked to some players at MLG. I talked to some casters and personalities at MLG. You know, and again, I had some people that were like, I would hang out with you and your package instead of work. Put it that way. You know, so I think it's a cool idea. It's a very popular and very profitable idea in the real world of sports. Mm-hmm. And it's also one of those ideas, Chris, that if I don't do it for 6 more months, that's okay. It's not the end. Like there might be there might be a gold rush to do a lot of things in esports, but you know, if anyone wants to start this idea before me, please do. You're not going to dissuade me. And you know,
you're just going to compete against me.
I'm going to come and then show you how to do it. And take all your user base away now. I'm very confident in our abilities just because it's what we do for a living. But it's not rocket science. Taking good care of people is not rocket science either, right? I'm not reinventing the wheel here. Mm-hmm. So I think the longer I wait, Chris, it's more fans, and therefore, because it's fans that can afford it's fans that can afford to travel. Well, and fans that can afford that next level of travel, like not staying 12 deep in a hotel room with all their buddies just so they can afford an MLG. It's that next level, right? So as this grows, that niche of a niche just gets slightly bigger and bigger. Yeah. That disposable income fan base, I'm cool with that. You know, in the meantime, I want to keep directing streams. I'm trying to get on for Anaheim. Don't know yet. Again, I don't know what they're doing in Anaheim yet. I'm trying to get on for DreamHack. You know, I tried to make the sweetest deal I could for Stockholm. It did not work out, and that's cool. You know, they tried. You know, they're not dumb. They have a budget. They have money that they need to properly spend. So it didn't make sense for them. Mm-hmm. But that led to talking to them about summer. And again, like Robert even said, I could hint about CSGO at DreamHack Summer. No idea what I would do for them. They are very entrenched with what they do production-wise. Like, they don't need me. They don't. They absolutely do not need Scoots. They will do great streams without me. But if I can help them, and if I can dip my toe back into Counter-Strike, fuck, and I can do it in DreamHack where the world's teams will all be.
That'd be heaven for you, man.
Sign me up. Sign me up right now, Robert. So, and again, I wanted to get my ass to Stockholm so I could talk about all of that with them face to face. It's easier for me to talk than it is to type or an email and shit. Didn't work out. So if you want me to be involved in DreamHack, you need to tweet every hour, boss DH. Let him know.
This is like the Papa John's thing with like.
I think he was in here. I think he was here earlier, but he's way past his bedtime now.
Yeah, definitely. He's probably asleep. But
so we'll see. DreamHack's a great bunch of guys. So if I can do anything for them, anything, I would love to jump on board. And again, MLG again. Hopefully, I get Anaheim. So. To the question, you got packages in the long term future, possibly. Mm-hmm. Short term, doing some of my old school event logistics shit, non gaming related. Hoping to do some more stream directing. I still have a full studio in Phoenix that is now available for rent. I've had a couple cool conversations with some people about that.
Oh wow.
Doing some white label stuff out of here. Because again, with the green screen behind me, this place can be anywhere and can be anything. So. I still have all that stuff going, so we'll see. I think, Chris, and again, we also talked about this. I'm of the age, and of the, thankfully financial comfort level because of my age and having real jobs for a long time that I'm okay to take some months and figure out what I want to do. I didn't have to quit EG with a job behind it. Mm-hmm. So, I'll freelance, make some money, and we'll see how this package thing goes, safe to say, if you dislike me, tough shit, because I ain't going nowhere. And if you like me, great. You're going to keep seeing me. That's
right. No, that's good, man. It's good life, dude. Definitely good to be able to choose what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody gets a chance to do that in life. So
I'm blessed, dude. That I've had several careers so far in esports, and some have paid and some have not. And I'm looking for the next one. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
Good shit all around, though.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think we're gonna call it an episode. Good stuff, man. It's always great having you on, and I still need to have you on one of these days when I do that production episode.
I'd love to be on it.
That was like the original. That was going to be the original time I'm going to have Scoots on. Was doing this production one, but this is just a better opportunity.
And that shit keeps getting better and better, man. Everyone as a guy that's a production nerd, man, it's just every stream everybody keeps.
I know, I love it, man.
Keeps out. I was even watching some, Halo stream this weekend, and they're doing listen-ins and all sorts of cool shit.
Oh yeah, that's right, they were.
Everyone's stepping up, so it's good. I remember I used to tune into streams and it was a lot more cringeworthy than they are these days. So that's good. Everyone just kind of raising the bar. I mean, some shit I look at nowadays, and then I go watch the Masters golf tournament or whatever, and I'm like, oh,
it's so amazing. Looking, honestly, since I started the show, it's like every time I watch sporting events and just talk shows now, it's like a completely different experience now. Yep. It's like, oh man, look at that overlay, or okay, look at transition there. Okay,
one little example I'll give you. I was watching the Masters all weekend. I'm a big golf fan.
Me too.
And I have DirecTV, and they do this they do a T-Box thing. They do what we've been doing forever. They take several different channels, several different. They put, they have a whole. It's kind of cool. They have a whole production crew that just talks all day long about what's happening at Amen Corner, and a whole production crew that's just talking about the 15th and 16th hole.
Oh, nice.
They basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels going. And one was the CBS channel, and then some were hole specific, and then some were following leaders.
Wow.
But
okay.
when you watched any of them, it was just like watching CBS. Graphics, broadcasters talking, camera angles. It wasn't like a cheap version, really. It was very nice. Mm-hmm. But as I kept looking at it, and you could watch them all in a mini screen, and whatever you highlighted is what you heard, but you could see them all.
Yeah.
And they had a score, a leaderboard over here in the corner that you could change to be different pieces of graphical,
right.
Which was really cool. But I kept giggling, going, this is just like what MLG used to do with multiple streams and what everybody does with multiple streams in our world. Ours tend to be language or B streams and red and blue and greens or whatever. But I was like, oh, this is really cool, but this isn't new to me. That's
I know, seriously, right?
So yeah, and there's my cat. She finally showed up. That's everybody.
Man, I might not.
I like it. That shit just keeps getting cooler and cooler because I'm a production nerd, right? So
yeah,
I just love that.
Yeah, I'm still a production noob, so it's even for me. It's just really, it's just really you just have a different
everybody.
outlook on things, or just a different way of looking at these events now. I mean, for one, the Super Bowl is a good example, right? Everybody was making all those esports jokes during the Super Bowl, and it's the truth. So so anyways, it's really cool. It's really, really great to have you on, buddy, and hopefully you had a good time too.
I did. I appreciate you having me. I mean, I'm gobsmacked and honored that you would ask me for your 1-year anniversry to be your guest.
Man, of course,
thank you, man. That's cool as shit. Appreciate it.
You got any thank you shout outs you want to do?
I'd like to thank. I know it's weird to say thank my fans, but I guess I have a few that follow my stream and follow me on Twitter. I won't call them fans. I'll just say thanks to people that support my like-minded stuff. I guess, right?
You gotta name your fans, man. That's the next level.
I would like to Scooties. We'll call them Scooties. Like thank all the Scooties out there who watch Scoots After Dark.
Yes.
Trying to get on the Esquire network, which used to be G4, but they're not buying my treatments. Thank my cat, who's now decided to do what she does every day to me and be involved in my computer work. I would still say what I say at the end of what I used to say at the end of every live at 3. We need passionate people. Support what you love as much as you can. Whether that's just time, whether that's your eyeballs, whether that's actual finances, whether that's volunteering or working for an organization or a team or whoever, lots of businesses need lots of help. And if something, I won't say if something bugs you, don't bring it up, because that would be very hypocritical of me, because I bring up shit I don't like all the time. But if there's a game you don't like or a community that you think is less than yours or whatever, that's the shit we don't need. Because again, rising tide raises all ships, right? Mm-hmm. So whether you like League of Legends or even I'm guilty of it, because I don't bash League, but man, I have not been pleasant with Shoot Mania. I would admit that. I have bashed Shoot Mania a few times, and I shouldn't, because it's kind of hypocritical of me to say support whatever. Because again, they're trying, they're throwing money, people are getting paid, they're playing Shoot Mania, that's good. I should be less of an asshole about it, taking my own advice. But, support what you love, forward ever, backward never, and don't worry about the stuff you dislike. Focus your negative energy within the community you like and fixing those negatives, right? Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about the area that you care about and what you're doing. And in that sense, be as negative as you fucking want, because I am. I don't like something like...
Don't be negative just for the sake of being negative.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, if something needs to be called out or you feel something's bad, we can't all be yes men, Chris.
Yes.
If we're all yes men, we're in a fucked up world too, right? And that gets a lot of people in trouble, is they surround themselves with yes men, and then they go down the wrong path with shit. So, a conscientious objector is what I like to call myself.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, that's it. Thanks for having me. Thanks for supporting esports and professional gaming, or whatever the hell you want to call it this week. Dudes playing video games for money.
Hell yeah.
Dudes and women playing video games for money.
Making a living is that's the goal, man, for all of us. But so I want to thank all you viewers for coming on, watching this, today's episode and watching the show, again, for the last year. I know a lot of you folks have been around, like even just, Lewis and like all these guys. They've been watching forever. And, I really, really appreciate that. And, we'll still be doing what we do on this show, which is, more so trying to bring up, trying to highlight some things that need to be talked about and that sort of thing, more so than entertainment. That's kind of what I've kind of come to realize, is that, our show is not as much about entertainment as it is about, trying to, be productive or trying to accomplish, something in regards to bringing something to light or talking about a subject. Like, for instance, I'm going to be doing a map making episode soon. Like,
see, there you go.
Very, very soon. Like, and that's the reason I didn't do the show last week, guys, is because I didn't feel completely prepped enough to do it. So I just didn't want to waste that opportunity to really talk about this without doing it right. So next week we have Kim Ram on to talk, about just Steel Series and all that stuff. But the week after we'll be doing the map making show, which lots of craziness going on there.
But even having a guy like Kim Ram on is different than the norm in the sense of what shows normally do. He's not a caster, he's not a player, he's not a personality in that sense. But this is a guy that, like, for a lot of us is like legendary. And Kim's a good friend of mine, but man, That guy has been around forever. Ex-pro player. Well, tune in. Anyone watching now, tune in next week. Kim Rom, incredibly entertaining, incredibly smart, incredibly historied. Wrong word. Historied. He's just been around for a really long fucking time. First European I ever actually met at a CPL.
Really?
He borrowed my team's BYOC rigs. His team did SOA. Not SOV, different team. Anyway, so that's a great guess. But that's what I like about this show, too, is like, there's lots of shows that, again, why I left Live on 3. It feels like it needs to be the EG. It needs to be the EG show. Freudian slip. It feels like it needs to be the new show for everybody, right, at this point. And its fan base is kind of asking for that. Too Good and the Good Studio is doing one better in that sense because they're bringing different experts on. Like, they have a long show.
Yeah.
And when they're talking about StarCraft, you got Apollo and BC. And then maybe they start talking about Dota and you see Bruno, right? They mix that. They got enough people that they can all expertly kind of tap on it,
that's
awesome. And that's good. That's good for them. I think Marcus and Rod are in a bad way, that they are in this spot that it's no longer an opinion podcast, and man, they got to talk about the news of everybody, and so you get a lot less good discussion and back and forth and problem solving, whatever you want to call it, like you do on a couple topics, and more. Here's the news. 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 And less, what do you think about it, Rod? What do you think about it, Marcus? And I want to hear what they think about it. That's why I was on that show, to give what I thought about it. So, again, that is what it is. All these shows are different. But I like that that's your niche. You find a couple big topics or one guest, and you go down the road with them, and that's good shit. And that's what you all need to do is find your niches. Otherwise, you saturate, right? Different content is not saturation. A lot of the exact same shit is saturation. So I like what you do. And again, like I said, I've listened to you from day one, but very hidden for a while because of Mark. and now, like, I actively tune in. I join your chat. I called in that one day.
It's great.
It's a good show. And it was, and again, like, I'm an asshole sometimes. It was a good show and Mark was on it, but I was not going to publicly support that asshole. So, that's my bad. I'm human too.
It's all good. It's all good, man. But, so, the VODs, obviously, for all the shows, the past shows, for those of you who haven't watched them, they're all on youtube.com/ChanmanV. And, honestly, I've almost had everybody I've wanted to have on the show.
That's great.
That's been the real gratifying thing about the show, is that, like, the industry has, accepted me in a way, right, to be on my show at the very least, and pretty easily too, which was just been.
But it's taken you a long time. Your numbers have slowly struggled and grown, and depending on the guests.
It's an up and down thing. It's just that's just how it is.
Like having John, and like I think adding Richard is, and I told you this, like, it was one of the best things you've ever done for this particular show. Like he doesn't do much. Lately he's done some interviews, etc. But he's not active on a regular basis on camera. And he gives you the European market. He gives you Conrad. He gives you, again, also a guy that's been around here since he had hair, right? We've all, well, I don't know. I never had hair, but
I'm like the only guy with hair anymore.
But the only thing in chat just pointed it out without pointing it out. You're pretty destined to fail if you don't get a cat on your show.
I was about to say that. About 5 minutes ago. I know.
Hey, I mean, fucking Good Studio's got like 12 cats nowadays. Marcus has a cat. I helped you on this show. Safi helped you on this one, but you might want to think about something.
No, there's something that is the one thing that is common, I have to say, about all the popular shows. Oh, actually, JP doesn't have a cat, right?
But does anybody on his show have a cat?
No, I don't think so.
Jeff's got dogs for role play, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
I
don't think Jen has one, or
you don't see him.
Yeah. See,
well, maybe that's why that show's so goddamn inconsistent. The lack of a cat.
Come on, it's been consistent lately.
It has been, which is good. They're back on track, which is great.
Yeah. No, the only person that I still haven't had on, which I hopefully will rectify that, is Marcus in the near future. He's about the only guy, and then it hasn't been because it's just been more of a scheduling thing than anything else with me and him. So hopefully one of these days we'll have Marcus on here.
You had Kevin on, though, when he was IPL, right?
Kevin?
Dude.
Dude.
It would be obviously really, really cool to get Kevin.
Oh, we have that. We have that interview. It's just Blizzard has.
You postponed it? You never had it, right?
Yeah. So
him and David.
It's a long story, man. But basically,
no, that's good though. It makes sense to have it. I mean, it would have been weird to have.
Well, it was crazy because I had them scheduled before IPL 5, and then like we were like that week we were going on, and then boom, the Ziff Davis purchase was that Monday. Like I think going into Tuesday, so. They couldn't obviously do it, or no, it was that Tuesday. It might have been announced that day, the day of the show, and I was like, oh wow, this is just like crazy, like timing. And then so they had to postpone it, and then all of a sudden all this stuff transpired, and it's been postponed. But at this point, we're just waiting for Blizzard to approve it, and then they're coming on. So it's just.
And I would wait till like any of their organization like structure, like they've truly finished organizing WCS, and then because right now they're like if you brought them on.
Well, I mean, it's I still think it's worth having them come on and really just talk about everything they couldn't talk about at all.
Oh,
like
sure.
The last
I just let the dust settle, then you can talk about what's actually happening, not what might should.
Yeah, well, who knows, dude? It could take that long.
Good. I'm glad to hear they're still coming on.
It could take that long to get approval.
Well, yeah. See, that's they are now in that corporate world where things aren't like, oh yeah, I'll be on your show, bro.
Exactly.
You gotta ask people to get permission and stuff.
I know, exactly. So,
and then they're gonna watch this episode and go, no, don't think. You were pretty tame, so you're safe.
Oh man, why am I not tame, dude? But anyways, let's see. Anything else? I'll just plug. Anything to plug? I'll just say, definitely support all these smaller tournaments, guys. These grassroots tournaments, and a lot of folks have been reaching out to me. Just talking about it because I had mentioned like me and Destiny had this like bet that if he started something over there, a tournament over there in Nebraska, I'd start something here. So
I like it.
I don't know if it's actually happening, but my whole thing is that he lives like right next to John and Marcus, and it's just like, But we made this little bet. But anyways, a lot of people have been reaching out to me, and I mean, I just think that it, I really believe in getting like BYOCs back and getting LANs. I mean, now we have laptops and stuff. I'm just all about trying to get people to like come together and offline, not online, and just have sessions, play sessions and tournaments or whatever. Play sessions even, it would be awesome. And so I'm been kind of all about that and playing around with just like crazy concepts like movements and stuff like that. But just anyways, like that's a lot of things I've been thinking about lately. So definitely support a lot of those tournaments and things like that. And because that's the that's one way that we can grow some of this.
It all helps.
Yeah, it definitely all helps.
It's an ecosystem, right? You pull one thing out, it has.
For me,
help something grow. It has its effects.
I mean, just to let you guys know a little bit, like I have this godson who's like crazy genius, like really really smart, and he's like 10 years old, and and he's like running his Minecraft server. He's gotten all his friends to join his Minecraft server and doing just amazing mods and crazy stuff, right? I mean, he's 10 years old, and we're talking about 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds, doing this sort of thing and like bringing, he's writing mobile apps too. I mean, all these kids can do amazing things right now, and I just feel like, there just needs to be some kind of centralized thing that they all just focus on. That that kind of they gather their friends and get to get and have bring together things like Minecraft servers and things like that. So anyways, I could go into it forever, but so that's been on my mind a lot lately. But anyways, so that's going to be it for this episode, guys. And again, like Kim Rom next week. And Wednesday Night Sprites tomorrow night. If you guys like the arcade, we always do that. And Thursday is going to be Unfiltered with Destiny. And I'm not sure if have you ever caught Unfiltered?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Yeah. So, but it's just me and Steven doing this sort of thing. Basically.
I've read a couple of Reddit threads after it, based on it.
Oh boy.
The debates, but I have not watched the actual VODs yet. I probably should. I mean, I like Steven. I mean, I've had conversations with him and about him, and we've talked about him on Live on 3.
Yeah.
I think he likes to push buttons. I think he might say and do things that he doesn't necessarily believe, and obviously he's got some very serious, solid beliefs of his own. But at the end of the day, the guy is a very intelligent individual, regardless of how you feel he acts or doesn't act. So, I mean, his ideas, are meritable oftentimes. Like, he's not some crazy crackpot. know, and I think he did himself his own disservice with some of his stuff he did back in the past. But you know, it is what it is. You know, I should tune into the show because I bet it's really good. You know, because he's not, you know, he gets to just talk and he's not getting attacked. He's not having to defend. Right? He can give you.
What are you talking about? I'm attacking him all the time.
Are you?
Dude.
Are you? Okay. Oh shit! I need to watch
I'm
this.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, we
I
have debates,
think sometimes he gets in those like moods, right? That he might have been pushed into. That he then says and does stuff, and we all do, right? So it's good. I mean, I like Steven. So.
Yeah. So we'll be touching a little bit on just the impact of maps on, not so much map making because we'll talk about the community and just the whole. Business and political side of it, but just on climbing the ladder soon. But we're just going to talk about maps and impacts on just all the games, League, StarCraft 2, even shooters and everything. So
it's kind of the playing field.
It molds the product. I mean,
kind of important.
Kind of important.
It kind of is important.
Yeah, exactly.
And some get it so right and some get it so wrong. I'll definitely tune into that one. You're telling me you're going to do this one, so that will be very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. But all right, guys, that's going to be climbing the ladder for this week. So for myself, John Clark, and Richard, who's not, Richard hopefully soon, and Scoots here, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let me run the credits, baby.